Hi Gemini, and welcome to your horoscope for January 2025. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: rising sign first, then sun sign, and finally for your moon sign. So I'm going to break January down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to see how the moon moves through different houses in your chart and how that's going to influence you every day in January. But before I get started, I also just want to mention that January is a great month for stargazers. On Friday, the 3rd of January, you could see Venus really closely to the moon up in the sky. And to me, that was such a symbol of hope, especially after the black moon in Capricorn that we had on the 30th of December 2024. Venus is love, beauty, creativity. The moon is your heart, what you feel, and what feels like home. So that connection on the 3rd was really a message to love yourself and to take care of your inner child and to nurture yourself. It really puts you at number one on the priority list. And I think that's such a wonderful way to start the year. On the 18th of January, you'll see Venus and Saturn sitting really closely together. They're going to be 2.2 degrees apart. Saturn is structure, security, and it's what serves as a foundation in your life. So again, on the 18th, there's an opportunity to really feel very and crystal clear about this is what I love. And this is what makes me feel solid and safe. You may also see shooting stars via the quadrantid meteor shower, hope I'm saying that properly, which continues until the 12th of January. So if you see a shooting star, please make a wish. And again, it's such a hopeful start to this new year. So week 1, Wednesday the 1st until Sunday the 5th of January. On the 1st, the moon was in Capricorn, and it was in your 8th house of institutions. So that was an opportunity to get the paperwork and all the logistics in order. On the 2nd and 3rd, the moon moved into Aquarius, and it was sitting next to Pluto and Venus in Aquarius in your 9th house of travel, education, and broadening your horizons. So those 2 days were wonderful for you to learn something new. On the 3rd of January as well, the planet Venus, the personal planet Venus, ingressed into Pisces, and that's in your 10th house of work, and it joined Saturn and Neptune also in your 10th house. So that's an opportunity to really discover or to look at your work, your career, if you are working, or if you're a student or you're retired, what you're working on, and to say, is this something that I love to do? Is it still accurate for me? Or is it still suitable for me to do this? Also, if you're someone who works creatively, it's a really good time to express your deepest feelings and to be very happy with the outcome of how you were able to express those things. On the 4th and 5th, then, the moon joins Venus in Pisces. It also moves into your 10th house. And we do have Neptune, the outer planet of connection to humanity, and Venus, the personal planet, and the lower octave of Neptune. They're all in that 10th house. So Gemini, the first 5 days of January are really a wonderful time for you to figure out whether you're still working towards something that has meaning for you personally, or whether the universe is now talking to you and saying, hey, make a change. This would be more appropriate for you at this point. From the 6th of December last year until the 23rd of February 2025, Mars is retrograde, and Mars is the planet of ambition and drive. It's in Leo in retrograde in your 3rd house of communication. So you're able to express things in a really public kind of way, but it's unlikely that you're going to be rash or kind of agitated, or it's coming out too much in a way that says you're impatient to kind of communicate something. So you're able to express things in exactly the way you want, and there isn't any urgency or pressure associated with it. So if you then look at all the stuff that's going on in your 10th house, it's almost like I have the patience and the presence of mind to consider what I'm doing, and I don't immediately need to rush into action. I do get to analyze things and make sense of them and whether they still work for me personally as a Gemini. Also in January, Mercury and Venus are direct all month. So don't expect any problems with communication or transportation. And also feel free to start a new business or to start new relationships. So in the first week, let's have a look at the houses the moon moved through. So it was in your 8th house, moved through your 9th, and ended up in your 10th. And again, that's the very top of your chart that has to do with learning and communities or governing bodies or authorities out there, and my work. So all the things that exist in your life that are out there in the public. Consider whether those are still suitable for you, and if not, you'll have the confidence and the patience to make kind of changes so that things are more enjoyable for you. That's kind of interesting because, you know, for most people, changing a job is something drastic that they don't want to do. It's like moving house. You're picking up your entire life and taking it elsewhere. It can be very daunting. But here, if you have to make any changes like that, in the first 5 days of January, you'll have an easy time with it. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 6th to the 12th of January. On the 6th and 7th, the moon is in Aries, and it's in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, and also informal relationship, like friendships. And it sits there with the North Node, Chiron, and the transiting ascendant, all in Aries. And these 2 days, the 6th and 7th, you're really going to be chomping at the bit. I know now what is right for me as far as my work is concerned and what I am learning or what I'm interested in. And I really want to jump into action to heal things if they don't feel rewarding. So those 2 days see you very, very energized, and any changes that need doing or making, you'll be able to get very hands-on and make those changes without the usual self-doubt or even the usual fear around those kind of things. On the 6th of January as well, Mars retrogrades back into Cancer, and it moves into your 2nd house of money and belongings, and it's in retrograde. So this is now a very patient opportunity for you to take care of your finances and your securities so that you feel safe in your life. The 6th of January also sees the moon reaching its 2nd quarter, it's waxing and getting bigger towards being a full moon in Cancer on the 13th of January. And on the 6th, the moon is in your 11th house in Aries. So there's a sense of build-up, as in I'm now going to rush out into the world and claim what's mine and build what I want to see in future. On the 8th and 9th, the moon goes into Taurus, and it sits in your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. And it sits next to Uranus in Taurus. And that's kind of amazing because the 12th house in the traditional astrology chart is ruled by Pisces, which is a water sign and it's very ethereal, right? When you have Taurus energy in there, it's almost like a cup or something that allows you to receive spiritual messages in a really tangible, concrete way. And these 2 days, particularly the 8th and 9th, if you have a spiritual practice, please use it because you're going to receive ideas and messages that you can apply very easily. And if you think about what you were doing in the first 5 days of January, questioning what you're learning and your work, the answers are going to come in via your connection to the higher realms on the 8th and 9th. So if you have a dream journal, or if you have a little notebook next to your nightstand, if you receive anything around these 2 days, make a note. It's going to be really important. On the 8th of January, Mercury ingresses into Capricorn, and it sits in your 8th house, again, of institutions and the authorities, and the transiting midheaven is in there, Palace, and the sun is also there. So this is great for any kind of negotiations or mediation, or if you need to talk to the lawyers, or if you need to get the taxes sorted out. You'll really have the presence of mind to complete things which are maybe not the funnest things in life, but to take care of your responsibilities. That's the word I was looking for. And especially in any of that officialdom of life, bureaucracy, red tape. On the 8th of January specifically, you'll have the willingness to say, this is what's happening, this is what I need to send off, this is what I need to complete. So I'm not going to procrastinate, and I'm just going to do it. On the 10th and 11th, the moon goes into Gemini, so your sign, and it joins Jupiter, the great benefic, which is also in your first house of self, in Gemini. So this is really wonderful. The 10th and the 11th, you're really going to feel very connected with your true authentic self. You'll have received a lot of answers in the days prior. And there's a sense that I now know exactly what I'm going to do and change. And during the 10th and 11th, any changes you want to make to yourself, your physical body, so changing your look or your wardrobe or your hairstyle, your appearance, but also if there's anything that you want to communicate, it's a great day for writers and artists and anyone who has opinions or ideas that they want to express. Good for job applications, good for interviews, good for putting your best foot forward and being the most presentable you can be. So if you need to convince anyone, or if you need someone to hire you, the 10th and 11th are great for that. The moon then goes into Cancer on the 12th, and it goes into your second house of money and belongings. And I'm going in week 3, it stays in Cancer in that house on the 13th and 14th as well. But in week 2 here, Cancer enters the second house and it joins Hades and Mars in Cancer in your second. So that's a day, again, like we had before with Mercury in Capricorn in your 8th house, to take care of your responsibilities, particularly anything that has to do with your assets, your house, your savings account. Maybe if you haven't looked at that for a while, there might be an account that offers you more interest on your savings. Or you may discover that through this new information that you've received in the first and second week of January, that you're able to create a new income, which will really take care of you and your life and your circumstances. So let's look at the houses that the moon covered in the second week. So on the 6th, it was in your 8th house, not in your 8th house, in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. And it moved through your 12th, then your 1st. And on the 12th, it ended up in your 2nd. So that's very much the left-hand side of the chart, and that's about you. My spiritual messages, my hopes and dreams. How do I feel about myself? And then finally, on the 12th, how am I going to now start integrating all this new info into the world so that I'm taking better care of myself financially? If you're a Gemini who is currently dependent on another person and you want to change that, the second week is really the best time to figure out what you can do to create financial independence for yourself, and not just financial independence, but by doing something that you really love and enjoy, rather than just taking a job, for instance. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 13th to the 19th of January. On the 13th and 14th, we still have the moon in Cancer in your second. So how do I take care of my money and my responsibilities? On the 13th particularly, we have a full moon in Cancer, and that happens in your second house of money. So I'll make a separate video on the new moons and the full moons. But for you, Gemini, this full moon on the 13th, when the moon kind of showers you with Cancer energy, you're going to find it so interesting and rewarding to consider your finances and how independent you are and what you can do. And it's almost like you're your own financial advisor or your own parent that lovingly shows you the way to create a greater sense of security in your own life. And I don't think it doesn't just have to be about money. That's just occurring to me as well. It can be this sense of I'm taking care of my inner child, and that's what gives me a sense of I'm home and I feel secure. So if you're someone who really struggles with negative self-talk or self-criticism and you kind of put yourself down, reflect on that during the full moon on the 13th, and you'll really find better and different ways of treating yourself. The moon then goes into Leo on the 15th and 16th, and it goes into your third house of communication. And that really is wonderful. That's a sense of, I want to talk to friends, I want to hang out with people, I want to present my ideas publicly, I want to be up on stage, I want the limelight and the attention on me, I want to lead other people, I want to influence them, I want to express what's on my mind. If you're an artist, a performer, a public speaker, those 2 days are when you'll get the most joy out of the public persona that you're using to connect with others. On the 17th and 18th, the moon goes into Virgo and it goes into your fourth house of family. So that's very different because the 17th and 18th are really about getting clear on your relationship with someone who's in your inner circle. So if you've had any arguments or problems with people in your family, these 2 days, the 17th and 18th, are the best to sit down and to hash it out and to have a word and to get back on the same page. Then finally in week 3, we've got the moon going into Libra on the 19th, and it extends into week 4. It stays there until the 20th and 21st, and that's in your 5th house of what you love to do, and also love and romance and children. And the moon in Libra is very, very connective. So the 19th, 20th, and 21st is the best time of the month so far for you to go on dates and to connect with people if you're single and looking. It's also the best time to connect with friends and family and to simply have a good time. But it's also another opportunity to connect with, what is it that I really love to do most in life? Or this is something that interests me, so I'm going to make it a hobby. You know, not all things that you're interested in need to be your job, your full-time work. They can just be things that give you a personal sense of joy and achievement and accomplishment. So if you don't have any hobbies and you would like to do something that's really enjoyable, and find something like that, the 19th, 20th, and 21st are best for that. On the 19th of January, the sun goes into Aquarius, and it joins Pluto in Aquarius and the part of fortune in Aquarius in your 9th house of travel and education and broadening your horizons. So that is now, from the 19th of January until the end of the month, an opportunity for you to learn something completely new and different that's designed to give you some type of skill that allows you to be of service to humanity. So it's interesting. I'm just thinking, I'm reading between the lines as I'm talking here. And Gemini, for you, it seems like January is very hopeful, but it's very much about discovering what you love via other people, what you love to do hobby-wise, and also to expand your life and make it bigger via the information that you're absorbing or learning, and how you can then apply that to express some sort of loving message to the world, so you feel that you're being of service to everyone out there. So if you're a writer or you're a public figure, from the 19th onwards, I think you're going to have a really easy and rewarding time connecting with people out there in the world. So week 3, let's see what houses the moon covered. So on the 13th, it was in your 2nd house of money, and then it moved through your 4th and your 5th, and it ended up in your 5th. So houses 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's the very bottom of the chart. So what makes me feel like I'm secure and safe and at home? Particularly, what is it that I love? Who loves me in return? And how can I interact as much as possible on that level, so I get a sense of joy and a big smile on my face, basically. So then week 4 is a really long week, from Monday the 20th of January until Friday the 31st of January. On the 20th and 21st, we still have the moon in Libra in your 5th. So again, Great for dating, great for spending time with family and friends. On the 24th, not the 24th, I keep misspeaking, my apologies. On the 21st of January, the moon reaches its fourth quarter, so it's waning away towards becoming a new moon, so the energy kind of lessens a little bit. And again, it totally supports you in all those relationships that you have in your life. And I would really encourage you to spend as much time as possible with other people on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. The moon then goes into Scorpio, and it moves into your 6th house on the 22nd and the 23rd. And the moon in Scorpio is very psychic, and it's very good at uncovering hidden secrets. And it joins Juno and Vesta in Scorpio in your 6th. So you'll really understand what the core things are in your life that make you happy and that make you feel like these are good structures that support me in life. On the flip side, you'll also understand really the things that show up in your everyday routine that don't make you happy and how you can heal those or get rid of them altogether. So that's a really good 2-day period to do like a spring clean or to throw things out which no longer serve you, which you no longer need. The moon then goes into Sagittarius on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, and it sits in your 7th house of relationships. So again, it's great to make new friends, to meet new people, to put yourself in any situation where you're connecting with people you've never met before. So maybe a meetup group, or you go to some sort of organization. I remember when I lived in Brighton, I went to a gamers meetup just to see what it was, and it was really interesting. And those kind of things, anything that, could be a hobby. So if you're interested in needlework or embroidery, or if your hobbies are trains or stamp collecting or gardening, try and do something on the 24th, 25th, 26th that involves your hobby, but that also involves other people. So going on a group hike, for instance. And it's very likely that you make a new connection. The moon then goes into Capricorn on the 27th and 28th. And again, these 2 days are great to get anything sorted as far as your relationships are concerned with the authorities, institutions, red tape, bureaucracy. You'll be able to get everything sorted out, sent off, completed. On the 27th, Mercury ingresses into Aquarius, and it moves into your 9th house, and the transiting midheaven is in there, Pluto's in there, and so is the sun, all in Aquarius. So that's very much about, I want to study and learn as much as I can so that my life feels bigger, and that then could really influence me in the sense of how I feel about my own identity. And also, it could lead to the discovery of a whole new life purpose, especially if it's a type of work that you could do and get paid for. On the 29th and 30th, the moon goes into Aquarius, and it joins your midheaven and Mercury and Pluto in your 9th. And especially on the 29th, we have a new moon in Aquarius. So the moon goes pitch black, it pulls in a ton of energy, and it's pulling in this energy of the thinker. Aquarius is known as the water bearer, but it's an air sign. So it's very much about, I'm the genius, I'm the mature person who has studied and learned lots of things, and now it is my desire to use that information to share it with the world so that the world becomes a better place. So you're really operating on a very wonderful level where you say, I have certain skills. And how can I apply those skills to make other people's lives better? I think it's really beautiful and selfless. On the 30th of January as well, we have Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and unexpected. That goes direct until the 5th of September. So when a planet moves forwards again, it shows up externally, so in the outer world. And Uranus goes direct in Taurus in your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. And that's great because on a spiritual level, you're going to be led or informed constantly via your connection to the higher realms, and it's going to give you a sense of security and safety and like, I belong. So Gemini, if you have not got a spiritual practice, or you've never been interested in that, or it's all about your will and that's the end of it, and atheist and da 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 da, try and see if there is something bigger than yourself that you can connect to. Because if you find it, especially at the end of January, it's going to be a loving presence that really makes the first 9 months of 2025 much easier for you, because you feel like you're being guided and supported. Finally, on the 31st of January, we've got the moon going into Pisces, and that again goes then into your 10th house of work. So it's really this sense that I'm able to make changes in my working life so that I'm not working against my own true nature, that it's an authentic expression of myself. So let's see, in this super long last final week, the moon covers certain houses. So on the 20th, it started in your 5th house of what you love, and it ends up in your 10th house. So that's quadrant 3, but also houses 4 and 5, and then house 10. So that final week is, what do I love? Let's discover that. And then let's try and shape that into something that I can do on a public level, where I'm sharing my passions, my desires with others to make the world more beautiful, or to make the world a better place. So Gemini, you're going to contribute a lot of value here in Gemini. Not in Gemini. Gemini, you're going to add a lot of value to the world by simply being a Gemini, by being yourself. And the great thing about January is that you discover your true authentic self as well. So congrats to you. I hope you have a wonderful month. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. I use the tarot, astrology, numerology, and my intuition in my personal readings. So if you'd like me to have a look at your chart, please get in touch via the website, gregoryscott.com. If you haven't got the time of birth, then please order a chart rectification with me. That's a process where I work it out manually, and that's very helpful because it gives me the right ascendant, and also the house placements are accurate. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please, so it shows up in searches. Subscribe for more videos. Please share the video if you liked it with other people. That helps the channel grow. And I do a daily tarot reading on the channel as well. Please become a member to watch that. Have a wonderful January, and I'll speak to you soon.